Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Circuit Ricardo Tormo, where we have qualifying. It's just concluded for the Spanish Grand Prix Sunday morning. For the sprint race, of course, we had yesterday, won by Esteban Ocon, and we now have... that stopped.
That's the end of the session.
But, thank you for that. Won by Esteban Ocon yesterday, the two McLarens after an abysmal lap 1, caused by actually Esteban Ocon, ended up coming second and third to close the gap on championship leader Oliver Behrman. But now we have qualifying for the Grand Prix. That's where all the points are given out. And of course, just like last week, unfortunately the commentary didn't work last week, but just like last week, we have 3 wildcards. Of course, maximum of 4 in a Grand Prix weekend, 3 this weekend, and then, I mean, they'll have to start using like 1 wildcards or maybe even no wildcards in a weekend, but because do it quick, Antonelli. Yeah, speaking of Antonelli he is the pole sitter for the Spanish Grand Prix. I think his first pole of his career, actually. Yeah, of course, almost won at the Chinese Grand Prix, but on pole 1 week on from a horrific home Grand Prix where he just had some weird issue. Anyway, let's go through the grid then. At the back, it's Frederick Vesti in the Williams. Not an amazing season for him. Did all right in the sprint race. And then, of course, we got a podium in Australia, but apart from that, nothing really to brag about. And Zane Maloney, second place last week in Italy, down in 22nd. Then we got the first of 3 wildcard drivers. Not really surprised to see him being the slowest. It's F3 driver Mari Boya, of course, Spanish, just signed on to Aston Martin's driver academy. He is in 21st place, and Liam Lawson in 20th. I'm surprised about him being that far back. Then we have Drugovich, Doohan, Pourchaire, Alex Palou, the Mercedes driver, of course, recently crowned last week IndyCar champion. Still 2 races to go for him, of course, at Milwaukee and Nashville in next week and the week after. But he has taken his off week to race for Mercedes at the wildcard at the Spanish Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz makes a change for him to be 15th. Also, I'm surprised Palou is that far back. I thought he'd be quite competitive, considering his teammate got pole and how dominant he is stateside. Yeah, Sainz 15th, normally we see him at the back, so quite a nice surprise to see him up there in 15th. Here's a shock, Lando Norris 14th, of course, got 3rd in the sprint race yesterday, 14th. He didn't have a great qualifying last week in Adria either, so hopefully we'll see him climb up the field. Anyway, Pepe Marti 13th, the final wildcard driver. We saw Gabriele Mini do alright in qualifying last week, but not to be for any of the wildcards this week. Pepe Marti in 13th place. Of course, Alex Palou has actually tested the Formula 1 car before. Well, he's done 3 practice sessions for McLaren, but McLaren already had, well, they've already basically got their wildcards confirmed. They haven't told us who yet, but unfortunately Alex Palou was not to be for him. Marti, of course, Red Bull Junior driver, actually almost won the F2 World Cup at Misano, was 2nd place after a battle on the line with Paul Aron, who definitely did impress, and that's why Red Bull put him in the RB over Oliver Goethe, a potential driver at the German Grand Prix. For Pepe Marti, the Campos driver, normally not doing too bad in F2 this year. And then we've got Alexander Albon 12th, Leclerc pole sitter last week, down in 11th, Gasly 10th, Stroll 9th. Can he finally ignite his season after an abysmal first 4 races? Not really his fault, any of the issues he's had. And we've got Hamilton in 8th place, Verstappen 7th. Almost won the sprint race yesterday, dominated it, but then unfortunately had to pit late on due to not holding the tyres on for long enough. Snowder 6th place, Behrman 5th, the championship leader, unfortunately crashed out or spun out of the sprint yesterday morning. Well, it was 12 PM. He's in 5th place. Ocon as well. The Haas duo level on 2nd in the constructor championship, level on points with McLaren, but unfortunately. Why are people still doing laps, by the way? I'm confused about that. But unfortunately, well, due to count back, McLaren have won 2 races, and Haas have won 1, so that is why Ocon is 4. That's why McLaren are in front of them in the constructors. But level on, I think, 76 points, if I'm correct. And then George Russell 3rd, Oscar Piastri looking to close the gap on Behrman. He starts 2nd, and your pole sitter, as already mentioned, Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Let's go watch pole lap from the Italian. This is his out lap. I want to see if it's this lap where he does set that lap. No, he's not. He goes 2nd there. And then what? Took him a while to get this lap in. Pole, here we go. A bit more further back, there we go. So on board with Kimi Antonelli for the pole lap as they go open DRS in towards turn 1. Of course, just like we saw yesterday, not quite flat out, have to brake a little bit, get on the curb, DRS open again. DRS is available throughout this whole lap whenever you want to use it. So yeah, quite helpful for them. DRS open again, flat out left-hander for turn 3, then turn 4. I should really get corner names up, to be honest, but oh well. Turn 5, again, just like that, right-hander. And turn 6, not actually what we saw yesterday. Yesterday we went into the escape roads and wound. This time we cut it through, down towards a flat out left-hander. And another long left-hander of Bernat Martinez. Then turn 9, flat out. We didn't see this spot yesterday, got taken over by the shortcut. Turn 10 and then turn 11, João Mazia. And then back on into Campeoneros, turn 12, where we didn't see this corner used yesterday. But now we're back on track through turn 13, flat out left-hander before final corner, turn 14, Adrian Campos. Final corner, named after this Spanish former Formula 1 driver, former owner of Campos, unfortunately no longer with us. But Andrea Kimi Antonelli is on pole. That is a lap on board of him. We'll see you later on today. It's 2 PM UK time, lights out, 3 PM local time, so we'll see you then.